Well, hello, beautiful souls. This is Dr. Shamika Harris, and I hope that you're having a great day. And I'm back to talk about the new moon in Cancer that started yesterday or Monday, July 17th, and that is commencing or ending tomorrow, July 19th. And this is part two of the themes, universal themes, and individual themes that will emerge during this new moon cycle. So, we've already completed part two. So, in part one, I talked about the sign of Cancer in our individual soul. And now I want to talk about how Cancer aligns or is reflective of one of the feminine energies. So, on my platform, Sacred Beauty and Wellness, I talk about four different feminine energies, and I've been creating my own self care model that reflects and reintegrates the feminine. So, you see the creatress, the queen, the lover, and the priestess. The creatress and the lover are the feminine energies that deal with our relationships. The creatress is the relationships with um, the partner, husband, children, or community. And then the lover is more individual relationships with one particular person. The priestess and the queen, although it's not denoted here, is a horizontal line, and they are non relational, meaning that this is all about you and how you, as the queen, see the physical world, and then how you, as the priestess, see the spiritual or unconscious world. So, back to Cancer. The creatress is the mothering energy, and the lover energy is where Cancer resides and is heavily influenced by the moon, right? And so, one of the aspects of Cancer that it shares with, that the lover feminine energy shares with the creatress is understanding cycles, seasonal cycles in the fall, spring, winter, and summer, and also understanding the cycles of the moon, and even how the moon moves through each nakshatra or through a zodiac sign. It has an effect on our mind and our emotions. So, Cancer representing the lover is reflective of our childhood experiences, and where we are the lover as a child, right? And then the creatress is our mother. So if you follow me on TikTok, SBW Heals, same handle as my YouTube, I did a short series on the mother wound and how the mother, we learned these different aspects of the self during our childhood. And one of the aspects that we learn is the element of self esteem. Self esteem and self worth are developed by the mother. Our self perception, self efficacy, which is the priestess and queen, are developed. These are masculine energies that typically the father would develop. So, in that series, I noted how we as Black women, and I was speaking from professional and personal experience, and I could definitely see how myself, I had a very strong priestess and queen energy, high self efficacy, and self perception. But in the areas of self esteem and self worth, I struggled in that area. I struggled in that area because the creatress represents our self esteem, and this is an aspect of ourself that is developed through our mother, right? It is our mother and those experiences that we have with her, going back to the themes that I mentioned in Cancer in the first video of nurturance, emotional protection, affection. That's how our self esteem develops. So think of it this way: the self esteem, as I noted here, is all external. These are external beings and factors and experiences that aid in our feelings about ourselves and increase in our feelings about ourselves. But our self worth is very reflective of the lover. It's internal, meaning that our self worth is something that exists within us. And although the world may ebb and flow, life circumstances may change, our worth and how we assess our worth, that remains stable. So here's a great example of it, right? Is that especially when it comes to women, think about how, I don't know if this applies to you in maybe one stage in your life when you were single, you may not have had great self-worth, right? But then when you became partnered or married, you had an increase in self-worth. You felt that you were more valuable. Why? Because you were partnered or attached to someone. That's one element of it. Or when it comes to the creatress and lover, you can see that dynamic unfold with the woman who may not have children, and how when she becomes a mother, she feels or believes that her feels, because this is the lover, self-worth increases because I have birthed a child. And in our culture, to bring it back out, values women who are mothers. So if we go back to our childhood, this is a theme that is coming up over the next 2 months, and I'm going to explain why. We are having to, the feminine is calling us to go back and look at this axis. And not only look at this axis when it comes to ourselves, she's calling us to look at it, to step outside of ourselves. If you are a mother who has daughters, right? How are you in this area of the creatress and lover developing your daughter's self-esteem and her self-worth? And when you step into that space, you're going to take another step back and then look at your own relationship with your mother, right? Look at her self-esteem, look at her self-worth. How was it developed? Then you're going to take another step back and you can go to your grandmother and look at, if you were to like take an objective stance, how would you assess her self-esteem, her self-worth? And as you keep peeling back those layers, right? As you continue to peel back those ancestral layers, you're going to see some major themes there with the women in your family. You're going to see major themes. You're going to see concurrent experiences. You're going to see women in our family. Women in my family struggle with this issue, right? Because this is all being brought forth now. Because right now the feminine is asking us to take a look at that so that we can heal it and bring that cycle to a close, because a new cycle is starting. So let's move into the themes of, now this new moon is occurring in the nakshatra of Punarvasu. If you do not know what that means, you don't need to know what it means, it's fine. I'm going to tell you what, you do know what it means. You know what it means intuitively and unconsciously, especially if you're listening to this as a woman. You may not understand what these words mean, but something within your spirit to be like, okay, I think I can feel that. You're on the right path, okay? Punarvasu is a nakshatra. Here's what I mean. If you look at a person who is a Cancer, some people see cancers as very homebodies, but that's not true. It depends on when they were born. There's an aspect of Cancer that's part of a suit that is very, very giving, like this unconditional mother. Like she sees the best in you. She's willing to give you a chance over and over again. That's one aspect of Cancer. There's another aspect of Cancer that's very Saturnian in its influence, in that she is the tough mother, tough love. If that woman understands and is using her Saturnian influence correctly, then she can establish a foundation, which you see in Pusha Nakshatra, where a child or a person can grow and flourish. The inverse or shadow aspect of it is, think about the movie Cinderella and the stepmother. The stepmother would be a negative aspect of Cancer because it's Saturnian, and look at the very shadowy nature she has. She's only looking out for her daughters and she doesn't care about how Cinderella develops. That's the inverse or negative aspect of it. And then the last aspect of Cancer is ruled by Mercury, and that's Ashleisha. And that aspect is very, very sexual in nature. So I just gave you 3 different descriptions of Cancer, right? And so I wanted to give those descriptions so that you can see. And that's for all the signs. There's these different dynamics that are present. So let's look at what Punarvasu means. Puna means again, and Vasu means to be brilliant like the rays of light. So what this means is that this new moon here, there was a full moon in Punarvasu in January of this year. And that full moon was to shut out and close out some things. That's why I said that many of us have been going through a major transformation. And this can be reflected in, I can give you some other insights, but let me stay focused. So now there's a new moon here. There's a new energy that's being birthed. And when you move it to even to the wording or etymology of Punarvasu, it means to shine again, to be bright again. The light is returning, to be wealthy again, because you have this influence of Jupiter. And if you see the image here, Punarvasu, the energy that is immersed in this nakshatra is the goddess Aditi. And this is from the Rig Veda. Aditi is sky. Aditi is all gods. Aditi is mother, father, and son. Aditi is whatever shall be born. And if you are a woman and you're listening to this presentation, we all carry this energy of Aditi. Now, this is out of the culture, but I wanted to give another example of this. And this is not to conflate or say that these two are exactly alike, but to show how an energy born in one an expression of an energy in one system, you'll see an expression of it in another system. Uh, one person could call love Aphrodite, another person will call love Oshun. At the basis of it is still love. We've just anthropomorphized it in different ways. We've given it different images. So, another representation of this cosmic energy is in African cosmology. This is a cosmic force of Nana Buruku or Nana Buluku. Like she is the same energy, well, similar to Aditi in that she is energy itself. And it's through her energy, because she is the embodiment of masculine and feminine, that she gives birth to Mawuliza, those polarities, which ends up becoming the masculine and the feminine. That is who she is. So this energy is so powerful because as someone who follows and I'm learning and mastering Vedic astrology, we have this new moon in Cancer that was yesterday that will stay in Cancer up until the 19th. Then you have a full moon August the 1st. There will be in Stravana, which will be Capricorn. So it might be a full moon in Aquarius in Western astrology. But the next new moon, that's going to be August 16th, will be in Ashleisha. And it's going to be at the very last degrees of Cancer. And I think this is very significant that we're having two new moons in Cancer. That means that there are some powerful energies of transformation, of newness, of growth that is pushing through for all of us to embrace. So let's move to some of the universal themes that are emerging over this, I would say, the next 2 months. Because again, as I stated, we're going to have two lunar cycles in Cancer. So one of the first universal themes is this that's coming forth are the changing dynamics and gender roles and gender dynamics. And if you are someone who is of African descent, there's this perpetual gender war online. But that gender war online is reflective of the change that we as a collective are moving through as the feminine continues to rise. Women and men are having to come forth, and this is giving us an opportunity to deconstruct and reconstruct how we will engage with each other, because many of the beliefs and ideas and ideologies around what we believe are relationships, are healthy relationships, are rooted out of systems of oppression such as patriarchy. And especially when you bring the dynamic of white patriarchy into it, you're adhering to something that was meant to oppress you, and now you're within a relationship, you're going to oppress each other. And so we're being called to re-examine it, especially as women continue to evolve the ideas that men have had in the past around and how they relate to women. Men are going to are being called, if they choose to, because the feminine is all about choice, they can choose to understand and embrace their own feminine energy from a positive perspective instead of attempting to totally suppress or control the feminine in their own lives. This lunar cycle is also giving us an opportunity to heal or address ancestral wounds. And this goes back to the previous slide when I talked about the creatress and the lover, and kind of how I walked you through, you moving through your own experience when you look at how your self-esteem and your self-worth, and then looking at how that appeared in your own childhood, then looking at your mother, your grandmother, your aunts, and then you're seeing all these themes. They're all coming forth because I'm going to show in the next slide the individual themes, but we're given an opportunity right now to create new foundations so that those cycles, those traumas that have been transmitted via our DNA, you, for those women who are ready to step into their priestess energy and who are already in their priestess energy, you're bringing it to a close, right? Another component is reintegrating the feminine. And I kind of talked about that in the first one, in men having to pause and re-examine what they believe is feminine, right? And how what their belief of the feminine has been definitely influenced by what they have been taught out of a white patriarchal system. And black women, as a black woman, we have to do the same thing, right? We have to look at, like, okay, within that system over there, within that group, that may work and then it's not working, but why am I following something that was never part of my cosmic design anyway? And even me saying this word, the cosmic design is Nana Baruku. This is a DT calling women to come back to our cosmic design, come back to your power, embracing your power, because we're all being given a choice right now. Either you will stand in your power as the feminine and everything that means, or you will be subjected to someone else's power, and that's your choice. So the other component or universal themes that are coming up are energies around the goddesses such as Mami Wata, Yemoja, and La Siren. If those are energies that you would like for me to discuss in another video, just leave me a comment. Another component or aspect is that this is a time right now to really work with the element of water. Now, I think you should use some discretion at this time if you are um, visiting bodies of water, because the water energies are very active. But when I mean working with the energy of water, I'm talking about simply through sacred baths. And again, I make sacred baths, but something that you can do prior to my discussion on sacred baths and the power of it is simply Epsom salt, right? Let's just start with some water and some salt. La Sirene Moja. And clearing those waters and clearing those energies. And again, if this is something you would like for me to discuss in deeper discussion or in depth, just let me know. Finally, a universal theme that is coming up for a lot of us will be heart, sacral, and root chakra blockages that are emerging for healing. And those three particular chakras came forth because we're dealing with the energy of the mother, right? And so the root chakra represents our home, it represents our stability, it also represents our tribe. And so there are some of us who are moving through this space where we're having to redefine, well, what is home? What is family? Who is my tribe? What does my tribe look like? What are the values of this tribe? Some of us are leaving tribes. Some of us, those values have changed. When we move into the energy of the sacral chakra, this is where we move into the energy of the lover, right? And this is where it reflects back to what I was noting in an earlier slide, dealing with those issues of self-worth and how those issues are have brought forth maybe some sacral chakra issues or blockages where we may have been connecting to individuals who, because they noted or were able to discern that we did not value ourselves, we may have invited energies in our lives that were siphoning from us and taking from us. And then finally, we're going to move into the heart chakra. And here, when we move into that heart chakra, this is very similar to the exercise I noted earlier about looking at yourself, your mother, your grandmother. All of that has to do with the heart chakra energy of the mother, that unconditional love, and exploring the theme of unconditional love, and exploring the theme of when it comes back to your relationship with the feminine, has that relationship been one where there was unconditional love, or it was all based on conditions? Those are some themes that are presenting themselves. Now, individual things for this moon that you can work with this new moon, or this is what it's good for. Okay. um Punarvasu, one of the symbols for Punarvasu is a bow and arrow. Aditi has the bow and the quivers, and she releases her quivers, and it's very similar because I noted earlier, this nakshatra has a lot of Jupiterian influence. Now, in the Yoruban cosmology, there is an Orisha named Ochosi, and Ochosi is often analogous to the sign of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius and Ochosi has what? A bow and quiver. So the whole power of this moon is for you to look at these different topics or themes that are on this video screen and consider maybe areas where you attempted to accomplish a goal there and it did not come to pass. You're given an opportunity to try again, to shine again. So let's say for someone your goal was to travel or to go on a pilgrimage or to explore. This time, this lunar cycle is one where you get to lay down some intentions of maybe it's time again to it's you're being given an opportunity to revisit that desire. This is also a great time in honoring the mother goddess or creatress energies. And that's when I was noting back earlier with Aditi. Nana Baruko, Mami Wata, Lasiren, Yemoja, cosmic energies and the water energies. And how are those energies present in your own life? This is also a great time for those who want to open up a childcare business, maybe tutoring, things of that nature, working with children, buying a home, all of that. This is a great time to um, this is where we can move the abstract into the practical. Come up with your smart goals for that. If you want to do any of those things, we move it to the area of the priestess. Excellent time to work in the area of imagination, starting a meditation routine, engaging in some healing, and that could be through the sacred baths, exploring the area of spirituality and teaching. All of this falls under Parnavasu because Jupiterian and Jupiter, I apologize, in Vedic or Yodish astrology is the guru. And he's the guru that teaches everyone. Whereas Venus is like, nah, you have to pass some tests before I give you my knowledge. Jupiter is grace, mercy. I'm going to give it to everyone because everyone needs this, right? This is also a great time. Going back to Cancer and that energy of the lover for marriages, starting a relationship, weddings. If you are a woman who is looking to connect to your soulmate, to solidify that, this is a great time to work on that again. If you have been again going back to the theme of Parnavasu, which is to shine again, to be bright again, right? A great time to work in the area of self-love so that you attract the person who's aligned with your frequency and your value system. Also, a great time for agriculture and gardening, as well as the one of the primary things of Cancer, which is building a foundation. So, in order to build that foundation, that means we probably had to deconstruct a previous foundation, and rebuild it. So, I know I've covered a lot. I'm going to come back because, as I stated, it'll be in another video. This lunar cycle is not just for in Cancer, it's for it started yesterday, but the next new moon will be at the tail end, I think at maybe 28 or 29 degrees of Cancer. So, this lets me know that this is an area for all of us that we need to focus on. Um, Let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. This is, a new channel. I'm here, so make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And I will talk to you later. Have a great day. This is, a new channel. I'm here, so make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And I will talk to you later. Have a great day. This is, a new channel. I'm here, so make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And